Monday, everyone. I know you weren't expecting me to be here. Neither was I. But this week got blown up last week, and so I had to reshuffle a bunch of things around. Shop I was going to be out on Friday. I moved up to actually Sunday, which I normally don't like to work on Sunday, but you do what you got to do to get things done because there wasn't any time to push it out to. So anyway, so I'm here on a Monday. It's glorious. I'm going to get some stuff done today. I was going to mow my lawn, but if you haven't checked the news, Arizona has had so much rain in the last couple of weeks. We've had remnants from a couple hurricanes in the Pacific work their way up into Arizona. And there's parts of Phoenix that have had like 4 inches in the last month. And if you know anything about Arizona, our average rainfall for the year is like 7 inches. So not much. So, hey, everybody, checking in. Kevin, what's happening? Lana, for sure. Monday is Mondaying. Absolutely. Jonathan, I agree. That song is a bop. I had to make a new countdown intro. I try to make a new one of those every couple of months so that it changes it up so it's not the same one every single time. So you're already tired today. That happens. It is Monday. So I'm glad to hear everyone's doing well. Today, if you saw the thumbnail, I thoroughly enjoyed making that thumbnail this morning, but it's in direct response to since the last live stream, I was in 5 different shops. Yeah. And there's a direct correlation in cleanliness to how easy my job is as a color profiler. So let's do some housekeeping stuff first. First, if you're going to Printing United, I will be at the DTF station booth, number 4486, which I think is just off the north entrance. Like if you come in from the north entrance, I think, if I remember the map correctly, it's pretty close to the top there. It's a pretty big booth. But 4486, I will be there on Wednesday and Thursday. So if you are going to be there, stop by, say hello. And then Friday, I'm going to be walking the show with my wife, just checking out stuff that's out there and just connecting with people. And yeah, so, and then huge shout out, as always, to DTF Station for sponsoring these live streams. Again, this thing, I abuse this thing. I think it's been maybe 2 weeks since I I think I printed a little bit on it last weekend. So I did print on a little bit last weekend. But man, I do not treat that thing nicely. Frank, of course, I will see you. You're at like all the trade shows. If you guys want to see Frank, he's at the Stalls booth. Frank is awesome. So if you see him, say hello. Tell him Jeremy sent you. I'm gonna have you guys bug the snot out of him. When he and Dave from Stalls, Dave, I'm probably messing it up, but he and Dave from Stalls, when they were at DTF Expo, people kept coming up asking about the hat heat presses because at that point I was not a Hotronics dealer, and they both were commenting how many people I sent their way. So if you go, say hello to Frank. Tell him I said hi and told you to say hello to him. Hey, Carl. All right. So yeah. So this thing has been a champ. And a little fun piece of news. I talked to Tony, who runs DTF Station, and I said, hey, you're wanting to push your color prime ink. So their ink, I think their ink is the reason this thing is like, I can treat it like crap and it still keeps printing for me. So I said, hey, what if we got a really, really cheap DTF printer and put color prime in it to see if it like actually works well? So I think I might get to do an experiment with a cheap DTF printer. Maybe converted. I'm not sure. What do you guys think? Should I do a converted one or just a super, super cheap one from like Amazon or Alibaba? I don't know if I want to go the Alibaba route. That scares me to death. But yeah, I'm thinking converted. I don't know. You guys let me know what you think. All right, so let's get into the topic today, and then as always, open it up for questions that you guys have. Yeah, the L1800. I'm thinking even cheaper. I'm thinking either the XP 15,000 or the ET 8550. That's kind of what I'm thinking, because I'm thinking super cheap. No, Carl, no, I will not buy a Panda. My wife is always like, oh, they're so cute. And I'm like, no, because I know they're not great. Okay, let me rephrase that. I have heard a lot of negatives. And I just think they're built on a very inexpensive, cheap platform, which is why I'm not a big fan. So I don't want to slander anyone, but also not a fan at all. Anyway, okay. So the topic for today, we have a first time commenter. Sorry, I'm getting on the topic. Hi, Megan. Welcome. I think this is the first time you've ever posted. I love your whatever avatar. That's fantastic. Hello, friend. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you. All right, so cleanliness, guys. So I was in a shop on Tuesday. It was an add-on, like last minute. The guy's like, "Hey, I heard you're coming to Texas to work on a buddy of mine's printer. Is there any way you can squeeze me in?" And so, but he had 2 printers, and I was like, I cannot guarantee that I'll be able to get both those printers profiled in one day, because the next shop proved to me that it's not always possible to do more than one. So I said, sure, I can guarantee I'll get one done, but I can't guarantee the other one will get done. Kind of explain what we would do. Walk into a shop. It's in his garage, which a lot of you guys are running out of your garage. That's not an issue at all. And he had an air filtration system like for the whole space. The only thing he had an exhaust fan to the outside. He was exhausting both of his dryers to the outside. And I opened up to like take a look at the carriage and capping station, and it was, I mean, aside from a little bit of ink around like the wiper blade, like you would expect, and around the capping stations a little, but my goodness, it was clean. And guess who got 2 printers profiled in one day? Like, it was insane because everything just worked well. It just worked well. And so then there was another shop that I went to, not in Texas, that was having trouble with alignment, having trouble with like feed rate stuff, having all these other sorts of different problems. And the thing was a mess. It was dusty. I told him that. I said, bro, you need to take some time and clean your printer. But there was dust on everything. There was ink like all over the like not just on the capping station tops, but all over that whole like system there. And it was a little bit of a battle, mostly because I think that heads were firing a little bit funky. There was this weird like ghost dot that was showing up when you did like the nozzle check. So if you've ever looked at a nozzle check under a microscope, they're just little dots. And if you have like either some clogs or some buildup on the heads, you'll see like little ghost, like little extra dots. And that's usually because when that was firing out of the print head, a little extra drop like came off late or separated weird. Because in case you didn't know, when they fire out, there's usually a droplet or 2, and they sometimes converge on their way down to hit the film. And if the timing's not right on that stuff, you can get these little like ghost echo dots, and it had some of those. So that was and that was not a shop I was profiling. I was actually trying to help them with their alignment stuff. But if I was trying to profile that one, it would fight with me a bit. And then the last shop I was at in Texas was 2 printers, 2 older mongooses or mongoose 2s. So I was familiar with them. But I will tell you guys, I have never seen a cleaner setup than this was. Like, they had the room, the humidifier, the AC. They actually had 2 AC units on it to make sure that it was like split units to make sure it's coming from both sides. And part of it was because I'm familiar with that platform, so it makes sense to me, and I know how to troubleshoot any kind of weird thing. But guys, I had 2 machines dialed in and matching each other in like 5 hours, 4 or 5 hours. It was crazy, but it was because I didn't fight with the machine. I didn't fight with weird jetting of stuff. I didn't fight with weird alignments. Part of the things that happen is when it's not a clean shop is your encoder strip gets dusty or dirty, and that'll freak out how it's like registering its position on the print head or on the print area. Also, your belts will get messed up. Your belts won't run as smoothly. Your bearings get dirty. Just clean it. I know it's hard sometimes and it's frustrating, but the shops that are doing the best and are easier for me to profile are the clean ones. And the other thing is that when your shop's clean, your system's going to run better and you're not going to be reprinting as much because it's not going to fail as often. So my 2 cents on this piece, not just from a profiling standpoint, but from just a quality of the running of your equipment and how consistently you get the good results, it's a direct correlation to how clean your system is. Like, dirty system, you're going to have some potentially sketchy results sometimes. You're probably going to be doing some reprints. Also, environment. I was in a shop recently that they were running at 80, 81, 82 degrees. Sometimes they'll go up to 85 degrees. Now, they kept the humidity up at like 50%, but I'm trying to profile and I'm fighting with it the whole time. And I said, you've got to get your temp down. He was running strong A with like a really high eclosion. And I'm like, dude, you're running slow because your temp's too high. And so you're battling with it. So yeah. Oh, hey, over on Instagram, tease me tease. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you. If you guys do me a favor, tease me tease. So TEES, me, T apostrophe S. They do a live stream on Facebook every Friday. They're a hoot and a half. But yeah, so get that thing clean, get that thing running smoothly. You might need to take a day. You might need to take multiple hours to clean up your system if you've been ignoring it for a super, super long time. But the shops that are keeping their stuff clean are the ones that are running the longest. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. Yeah, Carl, I live in Arizona, and aside from right now when we have a ton of rain, it's very dusty all the time. And I often come in here and I'm like dusting off some stuff. I'm a little embarrassed about the way my capping station looks right now because of just the fact that it does multiple cleanings while I'm gone. So it kind of gets a mess. But when I'm getting ready to print, I will go in there and clean out all of that stuff, but everything else gets dusted off on a regular basis, all that kind of stuff. The wife's watching from inside the house. Hi, honey. It's even more important to do cleanings and maintenance when using a higher head count. I absolutely agree because they spit out a lot more ink and they make a bigger mess faster. So yeah, I've worked on some 8 heads recently. One of them was not terribly old, but ink was like everywhere. So yeah. So that's my 2 cents on cleaning. If you guys have any tips, hacks, ideas on cleanings, put them in the comments. And for everybody watching after this is done, they'll get to see those comments and stuff like that. So let's be clear, Jonathan, and she will support this. She is not the boss. She's the vice president of emotional support. When I'm at a job that has just broken me, she's the one I call. And she knows it too. So she's VP of emotional support. That's what she does. Don't ask her about delta E's and gametes, and she thinks gamete's a swear word. So, hey, Whitney, now you're watching over on YouTube. You were first watching on Instagram. Now you're watching on YouTube. She could be both, but she doesn't have a clue about color profiling, and that's my big thing. All right, so questions. Let's get the questions in. It does actually. My whole system here runs on 110, and most of the DTF station products run on 110. That's one of the things that they were kind of big on trying to do is make it more accessible. So even their big 36-inch Miro dryer shaker runs on 2 110 plugs. So they're trying their best to keep things at an easier plug-in rate. And yes, for those of you who, when you see my wife at the show, because she is coming to Printing United with me, she's not going to stand at DTF Station's booth all day. But for those of you who are like, feel bad for her, she wants to be there. She likes trade shows. So she's gonna have fun when I'm standing at the DTF Station booth, wandering around all the booths and seeing what's going on there. So she'll be my eyes on the ground to see what's going on. But yeah, so bust in with your questions if you've got them. I did run across something interesting recently. I was at a shop, and when I'm profiling, I try to do the same like second press material, kind of use the same parameters that they use for pressing. That way the result kind of translates nicely. And this shop goes, we don't second press. And I'm like, excuse me, you don't second press. What are you smoking? They put it through a screen print dryer. And I'm like, okay, weird. Like you're not getting additional pressure on it or anything like that. I will tell you, it felt different. It felt very different. And over on Instagram, the comments don't pop up here for Instagram. So they're asking, Printing United always at the same location? No, Printing United moves. So last year, Printing United was in Las Vegas. This year, it is in Orlando. So each year, it kind of moves around a little bit. So anyway, so back to the dryer oven thing for the screen print oven. Yeah, so I mean, it's already a cured transfer, right? And when we press on it, we're embedding that adhesive powder into, or the adhesive, not powder anymore, but cured adhesive ink into the shirt graphic. But one of the things that happens, and especially depending on what kind of second press material you use, sometimes it traps some additional moisture inside of it. And so my thought process was that maybe when it's running through that dryer, it was only going through the dryer in like 30 seconds. I don't know what temp they were running it at, but one of my thoughts was maybe it's allowing more moisture to like leave the system and like heating up the shirt and the transfer together. All I know is it felt different than anything else. I'm not sure for sure that it was like softer necessarily, but if any of you guys have like a screen print dryer, try that. Try a couple tests for me if you would be so kind, because I don't have a screen print dryer, but I'd be intrigued to see if other people get a similar result where it feels substantially different than doing a second press. And then I'd also obviously want to know if it holds up durability wise. But let's see. Sorry, I missed a couple. So that would be my other question, is durability wise. Frank, you keep my wife away from those hat presses, okay? Because she has been bugging me about getting the Stahls hat heat press, and I'm just like, I don't do enough hats. Honestly, I don't do enough pressing. I just don't do that much pressing. So, but Frank, I need you, friend to friend, man to man. Please keep my wife away from that hat heat press. Let's see. Yeah, correct, Jonathan. They do kind of sell themselves. By the way, if you want to buy a Stahls Hottronics hat heat press, I have them. Just reach out to me. I'm happy to get them for you. Let's see. Yeah, so try different second presses, obviously, but this is a new thing, trying throwing it through the dryer. So you just do the first press, peel it, and throw it in the screen print dryer. Let's see what happens. I don't know. Oh, you do. You are throwing it through the screen print dryer after you've pressed it? Interesting. Lana, you're going to do it in secret when no one's watching? That's fantastic. What do I think about the Impact Color Boost film? I think it's probably an advertising gimmick, but let's see. Hold on one second, y'all. Let's go to the internet. Oh, FYI, I have been getting on Kittle. I kind of like it. Been playing with it. I'm working on some new shirts for the trade show, which I'm wearing one of them right here. But okay, let's see. You said color boost, film, inkjet. Yeah, it's just an advertising name. It could be fine. Again, guys, this is my big problem with most things when it comes to DTF is I don't know where it's sourced from. And if I don't know where it's sourced from, I'm not going to recommend it. There's no way to tell looking at their site, what it is. I will tell you that some of this is film related. I've done some tests where some of this was film related. It looks like ink starvation a bit. But this is not always film related. Sometimes it's ink related. So you got to be careful on which things you're looking at. And that's a fine image, but nothing. It's backwards. That image is backwards. It should be the other way around. I know because I see that image all the time. So, yeah, I mean, it's hard to tell. I don't know. You could try it and see, but just be aware, guys, that if you try a different film, it can change the results, the color results. So be aware that you might have to reprofile if you change your film. It doesn't always. Like ink, when you change ink, I'm willing to say 99% of the time, unless you happen to stumble upon the same ink, but 90+% of the time, if you change your ink, you're going to have to change your profile. You're going to have to reprofile the machine. And if you are changing film, sometimes you have to. So I don't think this one's necessarily a gimmick, but it's an these guys are advertisers. Everybody's advertising, trying to make their film sound special when they all get it from the same place. And again, that's part of my little bit of my beef with the industry is everybody just puts their name on it, calls it something special and fancy when it's the exact same stuff that half the other companies sell. So when it comes to film, you probably need to find some stuff that works well for you and just run with it. Find a place that can support your volume, that can keep it coming for you. Whether it's local or buying it from overseas, that's a decision only you can make on that. That 10 layer seems real fishy. Does it say 10 layers? Vibrant ink absorption engineered with 10 layers of advanced coating. So I was just reading off of the website. So I'll give you guys a little what's the word I'm looking for? A little bit of information. Most DTF films have like 7 or 8 layers because they'll usually, especially if it's a double matte, it's going to have an anti-static layer. It's going to have at least 2 matte coatings, double matte, one on each side of the PET film. You're going to have your PET film. You're going to have your release layer. You're going to have your ink absorbing layer. So just right there. And if they have a second anti-static layer or something like that, we got 7 layers right there. And just depending on what they chose to say. So again, I think it's a lot of just sometimes it's just pointing out things that are already there. Like when people talk about advanced white ink circulation systems, most of them have a white ink circulation system. So yeah. So let's see. Here we go. Carl. Well, let him test it and see how it works. And maybe buy a roll off of him and see. But yeah, like I said, when it comes to film, the only stuff that I can like recommend is the stuff from DTF Station, because the Color Prime film, because I know where it's coming from. They are manufactured. They're working. They are the manufacturer, working directly with the manufacturer in Korea. So I know where that's coming from. I can't tell you where anything else is coming from, which is why I can't confidently be like, yeah, get this because this works like this. And it's hard. It is difficult for sure. Looking into either X Tool or Prestige R2 Pro for last minute smallers. I don't have any experience with the X Tool. I know some people like it, but I think it's going to be kind of slow. And so if you're looking for something for just like small or like last minute kind of things, the only limitation on the R2 Pro is you're limited to only, I think I could push this to 14-inch film, I think, which means I could do like a 13-inch print. Right now I'm limited to 12.5 is the biggest print I can do. And that's like going right up to the edges of the film. So it depends on what you're normally printing, but I would tend to be a fan of this for those kind of one-off last-minute ones. Frank, DTF Station does not have a printer over 4 heads right now. I don't know if there's plans for them to have a larger print head option. If you guys are in the market for something that is more than 4 heads, there's a couple guys I can recommend you going to that have sold some machines that I've worked on, and I've heard good feedback from them, and the machines have worked really quite well. So if you guys are looking at something with more heads and you don't want to go directly to China or something like that, reach out to me and I'm happy to connect you with those guys. So my step was off. I got adjusted to stop the faded look in the blue from last week, but I have to run strong A. So yeah, Carl, your situation is pretty in depth when it comes to dealing with that ink starvation stuff. It may not be ink starvation necessarily. It could be this film doesn't like your ink. That is totally possible. So it probably wouldn't hurt to just grab a roll of that stuff and test it and see, or grab a section from your buddy and see if that works. But yeah, we Carl and I have been going back and forth a little bit in email too, trying to suss out what the main issue is. So anyway, yeah. So any other questions, guys? Because I'm happy to stay on here and just riff for a while. You guys are busy in the chat. Oh, Megan, I did see that earlier. You are welcome. Thanks again for commenting and joining the chat. Okay. Let me think if there's anything else. I am enjoying Kittle. I definitely still feel like Photoshop and Illustrator are still important to have for like managing files that come in, but I like the creative aspect of what Kittle offers. And it's I think, in my opinion, a little bit better option than like Canva, because Canva's really kind of leans heavily toward like slide decks and social media graphics and stuff like that, whereas there's a lot more like fun design type stuff with Kittle. I'll do a video at some point on it. I'll show you here in a second. Let's see. Yep. All right, let me hop over here and I'll show you guys. So one of the things that I like about Kittle, I'll just kind of touch on it real quick. So this is like a template, and I have made it like I've kept the main graphic, but the cool thing about the template is I can move elements of the graphic around. I can add my own text in there. FYI, this is a Color Gamut Consulting World Tour shirt. So I'm going to have the dates of all the places I've been in this last year. So oh, Megan's got a good question. I'm going to hop on that in a second. So what I like about Kittle is that they have a lot of these templates. So like stuff that you can play with. And so if you want to create something, or you just want a fun shirt, but you want to put your company name in it, I'm pretty sure Gerald from Merch Studio uses this heavily. But like, let's look at this and let's see, for you trending. Let's look at this thing. Let's use that template. And here's what's fun about it is you find a design you like, and then you can change up the text in it. And so I can go color. Gamut. Consulting. That's probably too long of a word for this thing. Oh, it smashed it all in there. LLC. Yeah. So this is the fun thing that I like about Kittle is that you can just kind of play with stuff, and you can all of the text treatments are editable, not edible, but editable. So yeah, I'm gonna keep playing with it and see what I like and don't like about it. See if there's any other things that I would like change or change up. But I'm playing with it. And as you can see, I've got this shirt that I'm wearing right now. I made with this, and I just changed the text out, changed some color a little bit, but kind of ran with that. And then let's see. And then of course this one. Now, Kevin, you're saying at San Francisco, if you haven't caught on yet, I'm mostly booked out through the end of the year. So I'm not sure when your printers are arriving, but you need to shoot me an email to see where we're at with that. Let's see. Megan, best Discord chat room for DTF. There is not one that I'm aware of. The Discord server for like DTF Station uses Discord for their tech support. But I'm not aware of a Discord chat room, mostly because the majority of DTF folks are Facebook users. That's where, like, literally I do like half of my business or more on Facebook through Facebook Messenger. So if you are an avid Discord user, let's chat. Shoot me an email, and maybe we'll make a Discord server for DTF and have it not be the cesspool of critical comments that the that Facebook has become, which is unfortunate. You can still get good help on there, but sometimes it's mean. Adobe Spark. Like I've used Adobe Firefly, which it's okay. I think AI image generation can be really, really neat, but you got to really like dial into how you prompt it. Let's see, Adobe Spark. And Alex, yes, you can ask questions about halftoning. Go for it. Put them in the chat, baby. All right, let's see. Sweet. Okay, so we've got people that are on Discord because I think what I've seen from what DTF Station has done with Discord, it's insanely powerful. So yeah, let's get a few folks and let's put something together because I think that could be huge. Instant ban if you're toxic. I don't know about instant ban. We're gonna put you in timeout because I haven't had a little kid in a while. My kids are adults now, so we're gonna put you in timeout. You're gonna be in direct to film timeout, and we'll see when we let you back out. Okay, Adobe Spark. What is Adobe Spark? I'm literally Googling Adobe Spark. Oh my gosh, I can't talk today. It's a good Monday. Googling Adobe Spark, and I'm not seeing anything about it. It's old. Oh, there it is. Yeah, it's old. I think they've probably sunset Adobe Spark. I don't think they're using Adobe Spark anymore because I think they shifted to Adobe Express, which is kind of like a marriage of Canva and Photoshop, kind of like merging those. It's kind of got a little bit of elements of both of those kind of things. I have never gotten too deep into Adobe Express, mostly because I'm sure my wife isn't watching anymore, but I'm a little bit of a control freak. So I like to have like the ability to like fix stuff and control things at a very finite level, which is why I'm always critical of the halftoning in Digital Factory, is because it doesn't allow me the finesse and control that I get from doing it in Photoshop. So my wife's definitely not watching because she would totally not agree with me. I don't want to admit that I'm a control freak in front of her. So, yeah. Carl. So in DTG, you can do a gradient white underbase. DTF does not allow a gradient white underbase. Now, it will do variable white underbase. Digital Factory does that under black or darker grays. Neo Stampa does it under any super saturated color. So like yesterday, I was printing some stuff on Neo Stampa with a customer, and their dark navies were getting less white underbase. So Megan, yeah, same. I didn't even know about Discord until my kids, but did I miss a question from Megan? The main benefit of printing knives, you get all your daily steps in, unless you're Frank and you stand at a booth all day, every day. Then you have to go to jujitsu class afterwards to get your workout in because you just stood all day long. I'm just kidding. Yeah. Okay. Duly noted, everyone. We're going to figure something out with Discord. And then those of you like, I don't like Discord. I don't understand Discord. Because the beauty of it, guys, is that if we can build that community up, it can function in a similar way to like DTF stations. Obviously, that one's limited to just DTF station users because they need to keep it that way. And I wouldn't want them to open it up to everyone. But there's AI softwares in there that can track. So we could actually build up an additional library of like troubleshooting. That would kind of be pretty cool. So yeah, variable white underbase. Yeah. I'm 100% fan of variable white underbase, not solid white underbase. So I know I'm jumping around a little bit, guys. Sorry. Because the darker the color, the more ink is involved. So it's going to feel thicker. So if you can do anything to vary that white underbase, you're going to get a better, softer hand feel because it's going to be thicker under those darker colors. And Carl, using Flexi. Yep, you kind of got no option. I think, have you tried doing variable white in your spot color layer on your TIFF file when you're creating it for Flexi? I would try that. Okay. Alex has got a good question. When I try to halftone an image or do a color knockout, it leaves either smudges that come out ugly on the shirt, but it looks good on the computer, and it's leaving a white layer where the color goes. Okay. So, leaving a white layer. I get the smudge thing because when you go to the darker colors, they kind of look. Let me see if I have an example. I've got 8 million shirts in my shop. Ooh. Let's see. I got a good one. This is riveting content, guys. Riveting live stream content. Jeremy hiding behind his printer. All right. So this one actually has a couple of things going on, but I'm assuming like, see if I can get it to focus on just the shirt. No, focus on the shirt. So like in those areas right there, where it's darker, where you're not quite black, but it's kind of like sort of black. One of the ways you deal with kind of that stuff is, and I mentioned it in my videos, like when you bring that black slider up a bit, you're trying to get rid of some of that smudgy stuff. The other thing you can do is before you send the image to be half-toned, before you duplicate the layer into a new document, adjust the levels of your image to bring some of the darker colors a little bit closer to black from the get-go, and then you might end up with less of that like muddy kind of darker color. And leaving white where the color goes. I'm going to guess that that's either you've got some semi-transparent pixels because you maybe resized the graphic after you half-toned it, or your alignment is off on your printer. And this one, I had a bit of an alignment issue. We'll see if it'll actually pick it up. Trying to get my face out of it so it'll like actually catch it. Oh, you know what? Heck with this. Let's see if it'll focus. Focus, baby. Focus. Focus. See that? That's some like right there. That's some white peeking out a little bit around the edges. So my alignment is not quite dialed in on this one. So that's what that can look like. So it might be a slight misalignment on the printer. It might be a couple different things, but I would give a couple of those things a try. But from the smudgy dark bits, those also can be those colors that the dots are so small you're not getting any white underbase, because if you press something without any white underbase, sometimes it'll stick, and it might stick for a little while. But what it does is it looks muddy in its color. So it might be that those areas aren't getting any white underbase under them, and that might be making it look a little bit muddy as well. So T-Seal would not fix that feel. T-Seal definitely gives a different hand feel, but it doesn't fix like on the tier. Like I've done some videos. I haven't covered second press material yet, but on a tier of like what makes a softer DTF transfer, the biggest factor is the graphic. So this graphic has got all this like open space in it. All the dark areas you see are open space. This graphic here is going to be super soft because it has a ton of open space. Look at all that. So the graphic is your biggest factor when it comes to soft hand feel. The next biggest factor is your white underbase. I think. Am I doing that in the right order? Is your white underbase. And that's because if you have more white underbase, and so if I don't knock out the graphic and I don't optimize my white underbase to use as little as necessary, the T-Seal will not do that much of a difference. It will make a difference, but it's going to be way less, like it's still going to feel not great if you haven't knocked out color and you haven't optimized your white underbase. Just plain and simple. If you don't do those two things, you can do everything else, but it's not going to give you great results. So that's why I always start with like graphic first, then white underbase, then adhesive powder. Then use your T-Seal, use your sandpaper, use whatever finishing sheet you want to use. But T-Seal will not fix that feel. T-Seal will just make it feel better. Hope that makes sense. I do not recommend it. There's nothing there that says that should work like it does, and there's nothing about what is actually being sprayed onto your shirt. So I would be a little concerned about spraying an unknown liquid substance on it and then breathing in the evaporated fumes. Not a fan. Not a fan at all. Let's see. Whoa, stuff moved around. Okay, so, and I don't know if Flexi will actually take it, but there is a way. I'll have to look into that, because there was a way at one point I kind of knew how to do that. But if I try to do it on this live stream right now, we'll be here for like 35, 40 minutes. And you'll all learn that Jeremy has to like remind himself how to do things before he records a video. So we're going to just hold off on that. Hey, Frank, be careful. I got in trouble for calling it snake oil. You might get served some papers if you call it that. I'm just going to call it a product I would not recommend. That's what I'm going to call it. I would not recommend Magic Seal Spray. Mine smelled like vanilla. Estevan's over at All American Print Supply, his smelled like vinegar. So I've heard mixed results. I don't know what the heck is in there. So many times our clients want to use the same art on any color shirt. So knockouts are kind of a bust on many jobs. Totally. Yeah. If you don't know what it's going on, like honestly, like if you don't know what's going on, or if you're just selling transfers, just don't worry about it. Because all you need to worry about is that the quality of the print looks good. when it comes to softness and hand feel and stuff like that, that comes down to more of like when you're producing the final garment yourself. And that's more of a representation of your business, your company, is how soft that feels. So yes, that is a bummer. But if all you're doing is printing transfers for them, then you're good. If you are pressing the final garment and you have the opportunity to knock out a color, knock out a color. It'll be great. Even if it does change, if you can, obviously. Some graphics you just can't. It's just the way that it is. Yep. I've made lots of videos. Yes, they did. They did. That's why the video got taken down immediately. Because I called it snake oil. I probably should have done that. That was rude of me to call snake oil. So Jonathan, he knows how to do. So when you use Flex, you have to create a spot color, and it's creating a spot color that has variable amounts of white. And some softwares recognize varying percentages of white in that spot channel. Not all of them do, but some of them do. So if some of them do, you can pick and choose where that white underbase is going or how much of that white underbase is going under certain areas. But I'll have to see if I can recall how to do that. Maybe I'll do that one of these nights when I'm on the road this week. When I'm in my hotel, poking around, doing stuff. I really should edit videos, but it's hard to edit on a 13-inch screen on my laptop, 14-inch screen, wherever my laptop is. If you guys don't know, I have a 43-inch monitor that I edit on, and then a 24-inch monitor that's down here. You know what? You get behind the scenes. We're going to get some behind the scenes stuff today. Ignore the mess on my desk because I just got back. This is my setup, y'all. 43-inch monitor, 24-inch monitor. So this is where like Photoshop lives when I'm editing. So, whoops. Go back to this. So this is where Photoshop lives. And that's my main feed. With all you beautiful people commenting. Anyway. You're fine that you're behind, Alex. It's okay. It's totally fine. No, I'm editing out. Like I'm working on that beach vacation wheel at DTF. That's what I'm working on. And that needs some editing. Trust me. The wetsuit is not exactly the most flattering thing I've ever worn on the internet. So I'm being very picky and choosy about my camera angles. So yeah. And I'm also editing because I have an Insta360 camera, and that's what I use to film a lot of the underwater stuff. So and that takes editing because you have to like frame the shot up because it records all around you. And so you have to frame it up afterwards. Anyway, you know, guys, I thought for sure when I started this business back in May, April, whatever it was that I actually started this thing, I thought for sure I'd be like on the road 2 weeks of the month, maybe 3 on a good month. And I would be making more YouTube videos. And the fact of the matter is there's way more demand for color profiling than I anticipated. So I'm not making as many YouTube videos as I originally planned. So I'm still trying to get some of that stuff out as much as I can. This stuff that's going to be helpful for you guys. I definitely am going to do a how to align video because I've been in multiple shops recently that they're not familiar with a lot of their alignment settings. And so I want to do that because I think that'll be really helpful for the community. But yeah, just I'm definitely I'm calling it gratefully overwhelmed because I've got business, tons and tons of color profiling jobs, but I also was not expecting to be gone as much as I am. So thankfully the wife has been okay with it. We'll have a good time in Orlando. But she's been all right with it in my chaos of this new business that's been just fun. I love it. I love it. And as you guys saw from that tour shirt, I've been to more than a few places and I don't have all of them on there. Anyway, so I think that'll about wrap it up today. If you guys do jump in with another question while I'm wrapping up. Oh, Frank. So here's Megan. Have you seen my live stream about Host and Soft? I did a live stream. It's actually my most popular live. Like, it's the live stream that keeps getting a ton of views because there's nothing out there on Host and Soft. So there's a live stream I did on Host and Soft. It was like little tips and tricks and stuff that I've come across. So go check that out if you haven't seen it yet. Okay. So here's my thought on this. Oh, Alex, you're the one who likes to just goad me with questions. So I've thought about like filming the color profiling process. However, anytime I've profiled and had like to answer a lot of questions, like I've gone into shops and they just bombard me with questions. And I've literally a couple times been like, hey, I need you to stop asking questions until I'm done building this profile, because I don't know, like when I get distracted, when I'm like profiling and I'm having to think about other things, it takes way longer and sometimes I make mistakes. So a lot of times I have to pay attention to that. If I was filming, I'd be like, it'd be a different level of like not paying attention or not being as focused as I should be. And when someone's paying me to come to their shop, specifically to profile machine, I don't want to have that distraction. Now, that being said, I've decided what I'm going to do, but I haven't announced anything yet. I am going to do basically a contest for a free profiling. So I know there's a lot of shops that are smaller shops that can't afford that my prices, albeit, are reasonable considering. Some shops, they just have a small printer and the cost of bringing me out is up in the range of what they spent on their printer. And other shops that just want to have me come out. So I'm going to be doing a contest. I got to finish putting it together, but I'm planning to launch or announce it around Printing United, so people can sign up there. But we're doing a giveaway for a free profiling. So I'll fly out to your shop and I will profile your machine at zero cost to you. So that's coming up. And so if you're watching, you'll be able to enter. And I'll probably run it. My gut says I'll run it through probably the middle of December, but I got to work out the final details on it. But I am going to be giving away a color profiling. I don't care about football or soccer. Did I just upset you, Alex? I'm sorry. I have no one to root for. I enjoy watching that sport. I enjoy watching soccer / football, but it's not something I'm like diehard. Like, give me talking about F1, I'll talk about that all day long. Heck, I don't even want to talk about like American football. My Cardinals are stinking it up. They're making me upset. Anyway, Megan watched it 10 times. Yeah. That's like the halftone video. People watch the halftone video like 20, 30 times. Anyway, all right. I think that about does it. Y'all, thank you so much again for tuning in and commenting and supporting and all of the things. I appreciate you guys so much. And I'll see you guys not Monday, because I'm going to be in Minnesota because my daughter has a choir concert. And then I'm going to Printing United. So you know what I'll probably do? I'll probably live stream some stuff at Printing United, provided I can get halfway decent internet access. So stay tuned. I will probably limit it to just YouTube, because trying to do the whole StreamYard thing from a phone is a little bit clunky. So keep an eye out. If you're not going to Printing United, keep an eye out on YouTube. I'll probably stream a couple of different times while I'm there and update you guys. So as opposed to a normal live stream next week, we're looking at maybe a couple of oddball live streams from Printing United, from the show floor. So, all right. Jonathan, you are sort of correct. The Epson, because their platform as a whole is more stable, it's unlikely that it's terribly far out. But anybody who has like bigger Epsons or bigger HPs, stuff like that, they still benefit from profiling, because not every single machine is identical. Plus, if you just want me to come hang out for the day, we can do that too. But I think you will actually find you'll find that the colors can be better, even on something that's already pretty stable. It's probably fine. It's probably okay, but I think we can maybe get it better. We'll see. Anyway, all right, guys, thank you so much. I will see you guys. If I see you Printing United, I see it Printing United. And if not, I will live stream from Printing United. You guys all have a great rest of your week. And I'll see you sometime next week, whether face-to-face or online. Bye, guys.